Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of Breck's Blueprint. Today, I'm super excited. I have Christian. He is my Galderma rep. He takes great care of me. And he's going to talk a little bit about the products that Galderma offers, some rewards programs, and other items. So, Christian, go ahead. Let's introduce yourself.
Hey, Breck, thank you for having me. Yes, my name's Christian Porto. I am the rep for the Tulsa area, and I cover most of Missouri as well. I've been with Galderma for 2 years. Previous to that, I was with Alcon doing eye care, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. But Galderma is the biggest pure play dermatology company in the world. I feel very blessed to be part of this organization. We're really trying to drive aesthetics forward, try to do things the right way, and in an industry that's been commoditized. It's been a lot of bad information out there on social
Mhm.
media and things like that. So it's my job is really just be a partner to people like you, Breck, and then provide the insights and knowledge and everything that Galderma equips us with to make you better, make your practices better.
Absolutely. And, I wanted to have Christian on today because I think partnerships are so vital, right? Like I've been in this business for a really long time, but I get focused on the business side or I get focused on weight loss or peptides. And Christian does a really, really good job of keeping me up to date on like what's going on and what promos are you running. And so my main products that I use are Dysport and Restylane. And so I'm sure the providers have heard a little bit about that. But Christian, if you wouldn't mind explaining what both of those are to our patients and kind of how those go hand in hand sometimes.
Well, this sports are a neurotoxin. I'm probably a little bit biased. I think it's the best neurotoxin out there. It's been in market for a long time, and we all know Botox. Botox, kind of like the brand name. Botox has about 58 share in the U.S. market. This sport has close to 30% share. So we're a close second, still chasing, but a close second. But we've been really growing this past year. We grew 9% in the industry. The toxin only grew 2 to 3% in
Mm-hmm.
2025. We grew 9%. So we're outpacing the market there. Botox actually was down this past year. And then there's a lot of newer players in the market. The differentiator with this sport versus the other ones is what we call the amount of active toxin. Our message is quite simple. We call it NFL, natural looking, fast acting, long lasting.
I love it.
But for you providers, if you want to dive in what's different, it's really the amount of active toxin per undosed label. We have the highest amount of active toxin, hence the reason you might hear it kicks in faster or lasts longer. We have 0.27 nanograms in that active toxin. Botox is 2 at 0.18, and then some of the other ones are a little bit less. But yeah, you know, it's uh, you know, toxin is the gateway for most med
Right.
spas. That just gets people in the door, right? Why? Because it works, right? And they're all good toxins. There's no bad one out there, but it works. But as you know, the key in this industry is driving results and outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
and not one thing's gonna get you there. It's multiple things. So we use toxins to get you there, and then we put a plan together for you, or you guys put a plan together for you, and use usually a combination of modalities to the best possible outcome. As far as filler, we have Restylane filler. Again, it's been around over 25 years, over 65 million treatments worldwide. We pride ourselves in our science, our safety, and our satisfaction. All our fillers are 20 milligrams of HA. What that means is to you or to your patients, it most closely resembles our natural current HAs in our bodies, which means our bodies doesn't recognize a foreign substance. So
Right.
it's very predictable for you, the injector, right? We've all had cases, if you haven't, knock on wood, that patients leave, you give them filler, they look great. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by, filler, HA is trying to hang on to that water. Filler actually holds out 1,000 times its weight in water. But then what happens, it expands on them, it fluffs up on them, and then that's when some bad things can happen, like adverse events. So,
Mhm.
as we pride ourselves on our predictability of our products, and all again natural looking, right? In the industry where we all notice bad filler work, no one notices
Notice
good
the
filler
good.
work,
Yes, that's what.
right? So we pride ourselves on the natural look. That's the heritage of what wrestling is. We call it undetectable injectable.
I love the term. I
The
stole it from
biggest,
you.
yeah, the biggest problem with fillers is exactly what I said. No one walks up to you. It's like, you look great. You must have good filler because they assume you don't have any filler, right?
Mhm.
But everybody notices the bad work that's walking around. So it's awesome. I think fillers, it's 10, 15 years ago, I think most people use filler to add volume. I mean, you still want to do that, but I think it's shifted to more using filler for structure
Mhm.
and then using filler to enhance some results, not necessarily adding more volume, right? And the key is just educating the patient because they're equipped with this social media information. There's a lot of misinformation out
Right.
there. And as long as we can get them in this door, talk to them, do a consult, explain to them, educate on what filler can do for them, maybe enhance their results, add a little bit of enhancement in the middle cheek. Everybody loves lip filler. It just depends on what. Some like the bigger lips, some like just a little bit of a plump, some likes a little bit more hydration. Just depends what you're looking for there. But yeah, filler is bread and butter of most successful med spas. It's just, and what people like about filler, results are immediate, right? So you
Yes.
can see the results right away, and it's just again making it look natural.
Right.
So
I love filler. I like doing little bits at a time, right? I'm all about natural results. I want my patients to have a slow progression, right? And I put together an entire aesthetic care plan. And so typically it's a combination, right? I'll do some Dysport, I'll do some Restylane. I love to do a CO2 laser over the top.
so
And it's a combination. It's something that you have to keep up with, as well as you need to have great skincare products. You need to be washing your face every day. You need to be moisturizing.
absolutely.
There's a ton of different things. And then I like to talk to people, with Dysport as well as other neurotoxins, dose equals duration, right? So I want to make sure that we get a good dose, right? I don't want to take one can of paint to paint my whole house because then I'm going to end up with partially painted walls. I want to take that one can of paint and make a good feature wall. And so if you're on a budget, no problem. We can work with that. We just want to treat one area to completion, essentially, so
Right.
that you can see the.
Absolutely.
So we usually start with Dysport, and then Restylane is my favorite. Restylane L, guys, which means it has lidocaine in it. So we all know that lips can be a little bit sensitive with the injections, but usually after the first couple injections on each side, that lidocaine starts kicking in, and it really helps. And it does look natural. You may look a little bit swollen the next morning, but usually it goes down pretty quickly. And I love both of those products. They're two of my favorites. And you were talking earlier about Botox sales going down and Dysport sales going up, which is amazing. One of the things that my patients love is your rewards programs, right? So to me, Aspire is very similar to, frequent flyer miles. And you guys don't hammer people with promotional emails and marketing texts and stuff. It's usually really easy and really simple. So can you talk to us a little bit about Aspire and kind of what sets you guys apart and how you use that, not only to get new patients in, but also to help existing patients maybe add a service that they haven't tried yet?
Yes. Yes. So Aspires our rewards program. You know, in a era that we're tied to memberships and rewards and Netflix and all the
Right.
different memberships out there, and we want to incentivize you guys or the patients to come back to the practices, right? But with Aspire, you never pay full price for a Galderma product. At a minimum, you're saving $20.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you're brand new to Aspire, you create your account, you get a $20 off, right? But with each treatment that you do, you also get $20. So let's say I came in and did a little bit of Dysport today, or did 50 units of Dysport, and then got some filler. That's $20 for Dysport, and I got one syringe of filler. That's $20 for that one syringe of filler. That gives me $40 for my next
Right.
treatment, right? And then we also have promotions that goes on all the time. So for example, on social media right now, you can get $50 off Dysport if you're searching this for, you know how AI is, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like the phone knows what you're talking about, right? You're searching this for, all of a sudden you're on social media, a $50 off coupon for this for. You can claim that coupon on your Aspire, and then you can use that to get $50 off your Dysport treatment. And then we also have different things where the provider can have codes that can pass on to the patients at times, and that stacks on top of their points. So let's say, again, I have $40 in points, and Breck has a provider code of $50. I can get maybe $90 off
Right.
my next Dysport treatment. So it just adds up. But yeah, it's a true database designed not only for the patients but also for the practice as well to not only attract but retain patients as
Right.
well, right? We all know we walk in, every patient that walks in through your door usually comes in for one thing, but they need a multitude of things, right? To create the best possible outcome that they desire. Most people need a little bit of tox and maybe a little bit of filler, or even Sculptra. I know we're not talking about Sculptra, which is our biostimulator. And the easiest ways to get that, to get those patients, it's to incentivize them some sort of way, right? We like to tell people there's 5 R's to facial rejuvenation. Number one is relaxing muscle. That's your neurotoxin. Number two is restoring volume if you need, and that's your filler. Number three is reducing volume. That's more lasers or even surgical things. Number four is repositioning tissue. You can do that with filler as well.
Mhm.
And number five is resurfacing skin. That's your lasers, your microneedling, even your skincare products. And I would say most patients need at least three out of those five.
At least.
Right.
Yeah, I think we all
Yes.
need all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So sometimes 5 out of 5, but at least 3 out of the 5 to again to maintain a healthy and younger looking skin. So yeah, so most people need some disc boards, some filler, and it's a combination of two. And then whenever you're join this Aspire, it's just going to help reduce that cost for you a little
Absolutely.
bit. So
Makes it a little bit more affordable. And one thing that I like, I remember, back in the day trying to input lot numbers and expiration dates, and it was such a pain. And it's so easy to add points with Aspire right now. And say Christian isn't signed up and he comes into the clinic. All I have to do is input his phone number in the system. It sends him an email or a text, whichever one you choose. And it takes some of my patients less than a minute, right, to sign up, people that are tech savvy. It's really fast, really easy. You get that welcome offer. And then from a provider's perspective, you literally are just clicking what treatments. You're not putting in the lot numbers, you're not putting in the expiration dates. You don't have to worry about all of that. You're just kind of keeping track. You're hitting submit. And then Aspire sends me a check every week. It's great, right? It's just a direct deposit
yeah,
into my account. So providers, you still get paid, but patients, you don't have to pay it. It's like a discount. It's a free coupon essentially for you. So but it keeps our dollars whole and gives our patients an opportunity to add a little bit more than they maybe would have without it.
absolutely. And it also allows you to be more targeted with your patients, right? Let's say you were having a filler promo, and you can look at your Spire database and say, these are my toxin patients that in my consult we
Yep.
believe need some volume restoration. Let me target them for this filler promo instead of just blasting out to everybody randomly. and it makes it more customized to them, right?
Yeah.
So, and
Targeted
then,
marketing. You can run reports with Aspire. I highly recommend email marketing to these patients. Healthcare emails are, I believe, are the second most highest open rate for emails. The number one is actually religious. I didn't know that until I started reading about SEO and email marketing. But healthcare gets the emails get opened, guys. So send it to your patient list. Patients, open the emails that we send you because there might be a nice little discount in there, a nice little surprise, which is awesome. And so, okay, Christian, we talked about Galderma, your past, my couple favorite products, Aspire. What's up and coming? Is there, you're always full of amazing statistics. So I love talking to you about, what's new, what's increasing, what's decreasing. What are the new products that are coming out that you're excited about or you think are going to be big?
yeah, our Galderma, we actually have 12 new products or indications coming to market next 3 years. 2026, we'll have five
Dang. Okay.
alone. Um, Nothing FDA approved yet, but supposed to. We did have approval for lift for chin indication,
Okay.
so that's out.
I love
We
that
have
too. Chin is underrated. I think
yes,
it needs to be injected more, and I love lift for that area.
yes. Not to go off tangent, but as you know, especially big cities, big markets, they treat areas, right? And why is that? Because an area gives the best possible outcome.
Mhm.
And usually this is considered area. Lips and chins usually considered an area. So a lot of times when you're doing lips, you probably need a little bit of chin to balance everything out. So again, you would during your consults and things like that. I'm sure Breck and any provider out there should be discussing those things. But yeah, so we got a new tox coming out, and then we have a couple of different fillers coming out, but nothing's out in the market yet. So it's not we. I know as much as you actually,
Okay.
so they keep it pretty tight-lipped. We got a skin booster coming out.
Okay.
So a couple different things that's exciting, but five new products or indications this year. So hopefully by mid-year we'll have a lot more to say. As far as the industry in the whole, as a whole, I think there's four things if I own the med spot that I would focus at, because these are the four biggest trends moving forward. Number one is GLP-1 patients. GLP-1's here to stay. It's not going away. We got more products coming to market. We even got pills coming to market. So it's a huge industry now.
GLP-1 guys is semaglutide, tirzepatide, and retatrutide is also still in clinical trials now. So
Absolutely. So, people lose all this weight. So how do we match their new face to their new body, right?
mhm.
And that's where us as aesthetic providers come in, or injectors. So GLP-1, the other one we talked about, it's undetectable, injectable. Everybody wants to look natural. Nobody wants to, you know, they don't want people to know
Not the
how they
overdone
got there,
anymore.
right?
Overdone is out.
Overdone is out. Number three is biostimulators. Biostimulators is basically a injectable that creates collagen back for you. It's using your own body's natural processes, right? There's three things that's happened to our face as we aging. Our bone is thinning, our fat pads are shifting, and then we're losing collagen.
Yes.
Collagen is a structure that holds everything together, right? And number four is the Gen Zs. It's the younger generation. They're coming in. They're more focused on preventative
Mm-hmm.
care and things like that. But I think as a med spa, if you focus on those four patients, you will win, right? If I go to your town today or in your area today and ask who's the facelift guy or facelift surgeon you're in their town. Everybody has a name for that person. Who's the mommy tuck makeover person? Everybody has a plastic surgeon
Mm-hmm.
or cosmetic surgeon in mind. But if I were to ask you, who's your post GLP-1 weight loss facial expert in your town?
Right.
There isn't one because we're talking about it, but no one's really truly focusing on those patients, right? And then the Gen Zs, at 30% of new patients in med spas last year were Gen Zs, right? So
That's a
um,
huge number.
that's
A
a huge
huge
number,
number.
right? Some of us are aging. We got new patients coming in, right? And then the other thing I would suggest is I think we focus too much on acquiring new patients, which is definitely important. But as a med spa, I'll have three buckets of patients. I'll call them acquire, convert, and retain. Okay.
Mhm.
Acquire is bringing them in. That's your social media, that's your word of mouth, that's your, aspire, all the things that to bring a patient in, right? We got to bring them in. Convert is what I call from one to three. 67% of new patients to med spas never go back to their med spa. 7 out of 10 of new patients, right?
Wow.
That's a huge number, right? I think we focus as an industry too much on bringing them in,
And not
and we
retain.
don't, right? And we can't expect to use an incentive, usually in the form of promo, to bring them in, and I give them some sort of incentive to bring them back, right? And then I give you a second statistic that's on the better end. It's 74% of STAG patients consider themselves a lifetime patient after 3 visits.
Okay.
Okay. So 74% of aesthetic patients consider themselves a lifetime patient after 3 visits.
Which is another reason why you do a full aesthetic care plan.
So the
You
whole goal
put
in
it
this
together.
game is to bring them in, get them from 1 to 3, and after the third visit, that's in theory 3 out of 4 are going to be there forever, right?
Yep.
But how do we keep them? Again, we can use tools like Aspire, membership programs. I'm big, big believer in membership programs, and those are the patients that'll do the Google reviews for you.
Right.
Reviews, as you know, it's very important in our world. It's our online reputation. So yeah, I would say have 3 buckets of patient and market to them differently. Bring them in, whatever you do to bring them in, whether it's you use social media, whether it's your Facebook ads, Google ads, whether it's just word of mouth, got to bring them in. And then you got to create that experience, which is having a great consult and great outcomes, right? Those are really the
Yep.
two things we can control in that experience besides offering, just making them feel welcome, right? Would you like a drink, have us just make them feel welcome. Everybody walking in your door is a little bit vulnerable because that's why they're going there,
Right.
right? So how do we take that vulnerability away as much as we can? Say, hey, you're right at home. I'm gonna take care of you,
I
right?
love it. Great
It-
consult, great outcomes. I mean, ultimately, that's what your patients are looking
right.
for, a provider
It-
that they can trust and a provider that listens and someone
right.
that gives them, what they want. Every time a patient comes back, even if I've injected them 7 times, I'll be like, Christian, how did everything go last night or the last time? Do we need to do a little bit more, a little bit less toxin? Where are you noticing, some aging? Is there anything else that's bothering you? And that way, every time I know and I double check, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. Like we may need a touch up in a couple weeks, no problem. But
Absolutely.
it's having that conversation and having open dialogue that I think is so important. And, providers, go ahead and rebook your patients at 3 to 4 months. Have your schedule open 3 to 4 months out so that you can rebook those patients for their Dysport. Or if you do have your schedule out 6, 8 months, rebook them for their filler or at least for a touch base, as Christian
Absolutely.
said. 3 times, get them into the clinic and build that relationship, build that rapport. And then also, another thing that I can't stress enough is don't overload your schedule. Like spend time with these people, like build the relationships. It's a lot cheaper to retain a patient than it is to
Absolutely.
acquire a new one. So,
Absolutely. And the consult is honestly in my experience the most important step in the whole process.
mhm.
That's whatever if you divulge 30 minutes, 45 minutes or an hour, whatever you decide to allot that time, that's that's your time with them. Like I'm focused on you for this next 45 minutes, only you, right? And your goal in the consult is to understand what their goals and concerns, right? Your goal really is to get them in an emotional state, right? And I'm not saying they should start crying in front of you, but ask a lot of those feeling questions. How does that make you feel? How committed are you to not feeling that way anymore? Because those are the things that bothers them, and
Mhm.
you have a solution for them, but you got to get them talking, right? And I think what providers a lot of times think that they're selling, you're in an educational say, you're not selling anything, right? As you mentioned in the beginning, depending what their budget they're in, like, we can work with you. We just got to understand how quickly you want the results, right? And how fast you want to go and all these things, right? We can go at your own pace, but we're going to educate you on all the different things that
Absolutely.
we offer,
And
right?
you've got to be honest, right? I tell patients no all the time. And I feel like when I tell them no, they just want to buy something else. But like so many times, how many times do you hear people like, I hate these? And I'm like, well, actually, you probably don't hate those. You've lost volume in your cheeks. You
Right.
just mentioned it. Your fat pads sink, your bones get less, and you lose that volume. And so it's having an honest conversation. And it's not that we're disagreeing with our patients. It's our job to educate them on why it's bothering them and how we can fix it.
Absolutely. You have to consult with authority, right? You're in the industry that the only medical industry, you're selling a medical product here, by the way, that people come in telling you what they want, right? Well, you're the expert. You got to educate them, say, I'm
Yep.
going to do 50 units of this sport on your glabella because of this. Now, I want 20 units here, 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 and sprinkle everywhere, right? And so yeah, you have to consult with the authority, but you also have to listen and by listening, educate them because a lot they're not aware. They don't know what they don't know, right?
Mhm.
And unless you spend time educating them, and they leave after that consult after an hour, 30 minutes, even if they don't buy all the things you suggested, if they say, wow, no one's ever told me before,
Mhm.
you've created an amazing customer experience. And that patient will come back. Not only will they come back, they'll tell other people about you.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, word of mouth is by far our biggest advertisement, and it's humbling and like it's so nice that when someone leaves you a good review or refers you to a friend because that's the best compliment that you can get, right? So
Absolutely.
and patients, lastly here, just and don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what we're here for. We are experts, but we can't read your mind, right? I can tell you in general, your eyes and your mouth are typically what age you the quickest, but that might not be what's bothering you. Tell us what you want, and we'll tell you what we can do.
Absolutely. 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 And, it, I like to start a consult, or I don't consult, but I like when people ask the very first question is, tell me two or three things you like about yourself. And 90% of people will only tell you what they don't like
Mm-hmm.
about themselves, right? And if you say, hey, I like this and this about you, I think you automatically, you look beautiful, your lips are beautiful, whatever it is that they have that is beautiful, because we all have multiple things that is beautiful on us, right? Um, I think you automatically put them at ease, right? Wow, this patient, this provider thinks I'm beautiful here, here, and they just want to enhance some things
Mm-hmm.
to make those beautiful things in my face shine a little even more, right? And I think that's a good opening question, right? What are two or three things you like about yourself? And then you also get to know a lot about that person because a lot of them, like I said, is going to start saying negative
Yep.
things.
It's an
And
open-ended question.
and your job is to bring that confidence back. And again, you have multiple tools or offerings in your tool bag. Your job's to show them the different things you can do for them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. No,
yeah.
I love it. Great conversation. Christian is an expert. He's my rep. I highly recommend you have a strong relationship with your rep for multiple reasons. He keeps me on track with so many different things. Christian, thank you so much for being a part of the call today and sharing your knowledge, as always.
Thank you for having me, Brad. Good seeing you.
Absolutely. Good to see you. Guys, tune in next month for our next episode of Breck's Blueprint.